Welcome to the Brain Body Fit podcast. I'm Dr. Jerome Rerucha, and I'm here to help you cut through the noise of fads and quick fixes and focus on proven strategies for optimizing your health and peak performance. Join me as we explore regeneration, anti-aging breakthroughs, nutrition, and the power of improving your physical and mental strength to unlock your brain and body's full potential. Welcome, everybody. Today, I have a really good friend of mine here, Jules, Gurney, and I'm going to start with just a little backdrop of this. So we have known each other close to 25 years. First, it started with a professional relationship. Juline was one of the people who have turned out to be a really great close friend over all these years. But initially, she's seen me lecture hundreds of times as we were talking about mitochondrial health, metabolic influences. You know, she was there from the beginning of my lecturing career, bringing low-level lasers to the masses and that Arconia relationship. And so we are going to introduce a really inspiring story from a really, really good person. From day one, I knew Juline. I mean, she was always great. She was always just incredibly honest, very driven, just great with people. So I was always impressed with her personality, her professionalism. But then obviously decades later, how we got to know each other. Yeah. We've got to know quite a bit. I don't claim to know everything about you or vice versa, but we have definitely stayed in touch and watched the growth of each other. So welcome, Juline.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to start a little bit of where we started. You know, this was shortly after 2000. We met originally, doing seminars together as you were a leasing agent for the company that I was doing a lot of education for. And we were selling medical grade lasers, just bringing that, really into the forefront of the United States there. So that alone was a neat transformation to see that, and especially what it's grown into up to this day. And through that time, you've probably seen me lecture at least 100 times in the years we were doing that together. And then you just kind of became part of the road family, is when you just have consistent relationships. And it's like we would see you one weekend and it's like, hey, we'll see you the next weekend. We're here again. So as we're doing 30 weekends a year minimum with each other, of course, we get to know more people, besides just the professional side of things. But that's how everything started, and just a really good, healthy working relationship. We still have that. Julie is still my leasing agent all these years with anybody, because I just don't have to worry about it. Everything gets done right. Her communication, her heart's in the right place of really helping people get the best outcomes for them. However, throughout this period of time too, a lot of personal changes, but going back to the beginning, before you started this health transformation, I saw you as this incredibly driven person. I mean, type AAA personality, very professional. What did you have, like 30, close to 40 employees at that time as well?
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, You were just driven, maxed out. You were the person on the floor. It's not like you just sent your employees. They did all the work on the back end, but you were always the front person and spinning 12 plates at the same time. Now with that, I'll let you fill in the blanks, but your health journey did not start, even certain things, obviously stress, certain medications, pain, different things at that time. So let's start there a little bit, where you would classify yourself, but then we're even going to go earlier than that once you just kind of start where we met each other and where you kind of felt your health was at that time. But you've already overcome things before I knew you.
Yes, I'd had a stroke before we met. A mini stroke, but still a stroke, where I had to be hospitalized.
Yeah, so I'm almost 55, and you're currently how old?
61 and a half.
Yeah, so again, you look amazing, you look great, and this is another testament to anti-aging of real lifestyle medicine. So that's really what this podcast is going to be about. This is about, as awesome as Juline is right now, and some people would say, oh, you're just lucky, or you were like this. No, that is not the case. So this is one of those personal success and transformation stories where Juline put everybody first in her life, but then obviously through consequences, she decided to make a change. And she didn't give up a lot of her other professional things. She's still a great mom, a great wife, all those other things. But this is reality to those of us who we would say we're commoners. Even though Juline has a competition background now, we're going to get into that. But we didn't start off professional athletes. We didn't start off, ahead of the class where everybody was investing into us with these high expectations of physical performance. But yet what we've learned throughout the years, not only helping ourselves to very high levels of physical output, but also influencing and helping others. So Juline still owns her leasing agency.
Yes.
She also has a business called Lean With Juline, which we're going to build into that. And then also she started her own clothing line. So all of these things connected through her life journey. And this is just going to be a really great example for a lot of people, because this is reality. Even though the history may be a little bit different, people have obligations in their life. They unfortunately get put into bad situations. And you said that. You had a stroke at age 38. And
38.
And so just to put that in perspective, I've known you almost 25 years, maybe it's 24 years. And it's weird to say, it's like, I've almost known Juline half my life, but we didn't go to high school together. We didn't go to college together. And it's like, okay, we're getting some experience under our belts where you can see, wow, I've known her almost half my life. And there's other people too, how we go that. So let's even go back, like what was going on? So when you were 38 with the stroke, and so let's just subtract 25 years from 60, so how many years prior to that was before I met you? Because there was no residuals, like you weren't a health specimen at that time, but you definitely could never tell you would have had a stroke at that point in life.
Other than my little bit of speech situation that I have once in a while, words don't come out right. I still have to struggle with that. People can't tell. They're like, no, really? You didn't? Well, yes. 19 days in the hospital, 3 months of rehab to get me to speak properly again, to walk properly, to be able to write again. Back then, money was priority for me. I'm not ashamed to say it. It is what it is. Back then, doing over $250,000 a year, that's what matters to me. Food was not priority. It was eat whatever I can eat. I was always on the go, on the go, on the go. But something, someone, whatever said, no, there's a stop here. I was overweight. I was literally overweight. I had a blockage. They found it, which it was during my sleep. And I will always say, thank God I woke up. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here speaking with you. But it was around that time that I learned that I was unhealthy. I didn't realize I was unhealthy. I thought I looked great, especially for women. A little bit heavy, weight. I looked juicy. I thought I was really good. But no, I learned that you may look okay, but inside I was not. So the stroke happened.
And you also have a very strong constitution. Like you're not a weak person. So in order, some people, as I see a lot of patients, we do a lot of life overhauls and we treat the person, not the symptom, not the disease, not even just the lab test. I mean, we do a lot of all those things, but I also look at the person. We look at their whole health history, even going back to, childhood. How many vaccines have you had? Were you breastfed? Were you not? And when you can't change those things, we don't blame it on that, but that's a reality starting point. We all have different starting points, but we also have the abilities to what inspires us to go forward and start making the changes as if we had those advantages. And it starts with education. So that being said, there's a lot of times an illusion. Some people have an illusion of grandeur. Some people just have an illusion that they're like, well, this is normal. Look at everybody else, what they're eating, what they look like. I'm normal. And it may be common, but it's not normal. And none of us, including now with what your role is in life, you're also an educator of that. But before we get to that, you're just telling that window of where you were and what you thought. And this allows you also to connect with the people that are kind of starting in that same place, even if they didn't have a stroke. But it's like, hey, I just want to lose a little bit of weight, but I eat pretty good. And you don't want to be mean, but it's like you're a walking trash can and you just don't know it yet. This episode is brought to you by PerformancePractic TV. All types of practitioners and patients who want to know more about natural healthcare love to subscribe to PerformancePractic TV. PPTV is a cost-effective, password-protected, online extensive library of training videos for clinicians and staff, as well as general consumers looking for direction and solutions to help themselves that can be watched from anywhere on your favorite Wi-Fi device. Education and training include Dr. Jerome's 3D brain-body mapping exam and correction system. This involves identifying multidimensional asymmetries through a comprehensive approach. Once the imbalances are identified, extensive hours of various proven corrective methods are the focus, including the research, physiological mechanisms, along with hands-on instruction, including regenerative cold laser therapy, adjustments, soft tissue, when to use orthotics, pulsed electromagnetic frequency, whole body synchronous vibration, corrective clinical exercises for general consumers and competitors, as well as detailed nutrition and healthy eating to optimize your metabolism for healing or performance. Understanding the physiology and application of guaranteed healthy weight loss, muscle gain, and strength improvements for the look and quality of life outcomes you desire. In addition, there are numerous lab testing examples that apply to having more energy, hormone balance, immune enhancement, correcting digestion, brain health, understanding mechanisms and solutions to become pain-free, toes to nose, and discussing the limitless science and integrative protocols of anti-aging, including peptides, cell therapy, exosomes, and more. New content is added regularly. As long as you are subscribed, you continue to access all the materials. Subscribe today at watch.performancepractic.com.
Exactly. I had back then surrounded myself with a lot of health professionals who helped me to get back to a somewhat normal life. But that's when it was 2008, I was actually introduced to Real Fitness, and it was boot camp. And this gentleman saw that I was not only there for myself, but I was also helping others in the group. And he back then got me certified to learn more about fitness. I actually got his certification, but I also went to NASM to get more of a well-rounded education to learn what makes the body optimally, work, to make what should we do, especially when it comes to food. So that's how back then I got into learning about the body, learning about food. So now I'll let you tell me where you want me to take.
Yeah.
Go next.
Well, before we get to the 2017 big life transformation, this is really great. So this is 2008. We're not working on the road together anymore at this time, still keeping in touch somewhat. So I was aware of your transformation. And even then, you had a pretty significant jump. Now, I don't know if you were featured in a couple magazines that early or shortly after.
I was, Oxygen Magazine and a couple others.
Now, you didn't compete as early as 2008, 9, or 10, anything like
Correct.
that. So just your transformation still got you into Oxygen magazine. Just to get you got a really dynamic personality and obviously a big change. So it was a good story even at that time.
Yes. My eldest son, he was 32, exactly 9 years ago, this past May, passed away from a rare blood clot disease called antiphospholipid syndrome. His body would clot. Literally, his lungs would clot. He battled that for 8 years. And so 9 years ago, he passed. Prior to that, I stayed healthy. I stayed in shape. I was teaching people how to eat, how to walk, how to do this, how to stay in shape. But knowing that I'm missing part of me, my firstborn, it took me to a deep depression. That's when I actually learned there was such thing as depression. I didn't believe there was such thing. And for 2 years, I work because I had to pay bills, but I was not living. And throughout those 2 years, I pack on over 50 pounds on my body. And 2 years after his passing, he actually showed up in my dream and told me that he was okay and that I need to be as well. I woke up that morning and saying, okay, I have to get back in shape. Not thinking, okay, I'm going to compete, I'm going to do this and that. But he urged me in the dream to go compete. And so I did. I woke up took pictures of myself, which you have, front, back, side, and for 8 months, I not only worked out hard at the gym, but I ate the way we're supposed to eat. I ate well. I ate healthy foods. I prepped my meals, which got me on stage competing at, I believe I was almost 55 years old. I was 54 when I first competed, and I kept competing and winning among younger women. And I fell in love with, of course, competition, but more fell in love with the fact that our body is, how they say it, a temple, and we need to treat it well. That picture, or those pictures, my husband took of me that morning, and I was literally ashamed to show him my body. For 2 years, he did not see my real body. And that day, both him and my grandson saw how I looked, and they were shocked. I was shocked. So that was me, day one, December 2017.
Yeah, and I want to make a point here too. So when I knew you from the business side of it, you were so driven, and I never saw you eat fast food. I never saw you eat junk. I mean, we had the typical decent, way over average restaurants we were going to, and I never saw you, like, you didn't start with dessert, you didn't do this. Like, I mean, there was somewhat of a consciousness, you know, your portion control wasn't out of control, but I mean, it's just the stress, the drive, and you know, the other thing to really help people understand, you really have to understand what a healthy lifestyle is before you can understand what it's not. And what people consider normal, like just going out to the common restaurants, not even the fast food restaurants, but when you drive down the street, the normal restaurants, it's like, that's not going to get you the results at all of what Juline went through. And I can't stress enough that unfortunately in the clinical world, and I'm not saying there's not some clinicians that don't do this, but it's very, very few. It's less than 1%. And even when you start talking medical weight loss, which wasn't even, I mean, you had always legalized speed and stuff like that for, you know, longer than I've been alive almost. But at that time, you know, there was no Ozempic at all at this time, and GLP-1s and those types of things. And you didn't do those anyway.
No.
So it really, I cannot emphasize enough to look at people who are really healthy, have them coach you, because you cannot get this information. The strength and fitness world is the best place to get real food advice, not over supplement advice, not here, take this magic fad. When you get with people that compete, and there's great competitors. I know thousands of great coaches in the strength and fitness world from every walk you can imagine. But if I'm trying to refer somebody somewhere, we do a lot of national project patients where sometimes I never meet them in real life, but we can do real detailed metabolic education as well as lab testing on them from a distance. We meet with them for sure once a week on Zoom calls, show them statistics of body composition changes based upon the in-body body composition that we use weekly. But that is really rare, and especially for clinicians to do those types of things, and hopefully more are doing it as I have the relationship with LifeBase. But I always try to get people to look for a certain strength and fitness person if they're not going to do it to that level with us. And you yourself, as we're going to get into that here pretty soon, you competed in figure. And so it was that there's different classes for people who don't know that, you know, and I think if I'm not mistaken, you know, bikini is like the, I don't even want to call it an intro level, because professional bikini competitors, this isn't like you show up to a bar like in college for a bikini contest. I mean, these are very, very serious strength and fitness and healthy eating people. So there's certain classifications of people. I'm like, look, I'm not saying there's not a great bodybuilder, even if they're a professional bodybuilder, you know, don't get intimidated by it. You know, they're not just eating clean food of how they look like that. But there's so many women and even guys that compete at bikini at a true competition level, NPC, IFBB, sanctioned meets, and they are so smart. Like, you cannot do that. And it's not drugs that get them those changes.
No.
They're very, very drug free in many instances, or at least
naturally.
just taking naturally, bioidentical hormones, maybe just for health purposes at instances. But these people, no food, and they walk the talk more than anybody out there. That's where you really fell into, and that's what inspired you to get really started the right way as well. You didn't try to figure it out yourself. You didn't just read articles, even though you were well educated at that time. But let's talk about that, because you are that person, and I've shared some of my clients with you, because I think sometimes it's like, okay, I'm not a female, and I'm not a female, even though we all have our own stories, but I'm not a female that went through some pretty dark times more than once in her life. So I like sharing stories with people. It's not just about, you need to do this because I'm telling you, you need to listen to me. It's like, we're really helping a person, like we're making that connection with them.
Right.
To where it's like, look, this isn't just me. This isn't me saying it. Like I could take 1,000 girls or guys that are competing up there, and very few of them have a pain-free story. Like the majority of people on that stage, you're going to cry just listening to their story, because
they have a story,
horrific, and the strength that they overcome, but they overcame it by focusing on positive things, looking in the mirror, what can I do to improve myself, instead of getting caught up in all the drama outside in the world, but really learning, what does it take to change me? And it's never just nutrition, even though this is a huge part of it. But when you go through this journey, you will emotionally change. You will find strength you didn't know you have. You will hit rock bottoms that you didn't know you have at certain times.
So true. So true. Yes.
So expand on that for you. And let's even, I don't know if you want to go back. So with the stroke situation, again, you recovered from the stroke. You kind of did traditional rehab. There was no big jump like you had in 2017.
Oh, no, absolutely not. No, I had a why in this situation where I needed to get back to a healthy state. I still had a daughter to live for. My son left me a grandson, my husband. I had a life I had to get back to. And I knew carrying, like at that time, actually, my BMI, I believe, was about 38%. So I knew that wasn't good. I mean, I'm in the industry. I should have known better. But I found a trainer that literally worked with, customize a plan for me, not for competition. We weren't even thinking competition. I wanted to get back to having a healthy body. The proper nutrition I knew would get me there. But fitness, lifting weight, it didn't really resonate yet with me until he said, you need to lift weight in order to get that body you're looking for. I told him exactly what I needed. Not, I want to weigh this, I want to weigh that. I needed a healthy body supported by muscles, period. And so he told me how much it would cost for the fitness and the nutrition. I signed up that day, started with just 3 days a week, 2 hours per day, because cardio was very crucial. And 4 months later, he transformed my body, which you have the slide. I could not believe how much body fat I lost within those 4 months. And there it is. Everybody can see the difference. My body started sculpting. I'm wearing almost the same clothes there because I lost a lot of the top portion. And that's always number one. That's where we lose it. And then 8 months later, I had a body that I never dreamed of, that I never even had prior to my stroke or prior to my son passing. And there it is. I actually got too skinny, but I had to literally make a conscious decision to carry around my meals that I prep, not restaurant meals. For 8 months, I did not eat at a restaurant. People said, oh, you can have salad. No, that's for the rabbits, not just have salad. I had to eat actual meals, food to sustain me, protein, Carbs. I ate carbs throughout the day. Vegetables. Forget the salad. Vegetables, real vegetables, eating broccoli all day long. But I had to make a conscious decision to carry the food around so I would not make a mistake. And every Sunday I had to prep my meals for the week. I knew exactly what was going into my mouth: breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner. And before I go to bed, if I'm hungry, yes, eat or drink a protein shake. And 8 months later, I lost way too much weight, although I wanted to be that skinny, but no, I needed muscles. So that's when actually we started adding on muscles on my body. And then he said, I think we should compete. Didn't your son wanted you to compete at one point? Didn't he say that to you? He reminded me what my son said. And I'm from an old-fashioned family, Caribbean family, where we don't really show off our bodies to anybody other than our spouses. And I'm thinking, me standing on stage in a bikini, showing everybody my body? But when I saw that body, I was like, yeah, let's do it, which caused me to compete. My first competition, I got second place. And then after that, it was first or third place or second place. I mean, I just kept going.
This episode is brought to you by Life-Based Professional Healthy Eating Systems. We all know intuitively that the food we eat affects our shape, our health, and our performance. But every day we're inundated with new quick fix diets or gimmicks that claim magic promises and for most failed results. Nutrition really shouldn't be this confusing. Life-Based is the solution that promotes eating real food and optimizing your individual needs without fads, gimmicks, overhyped supplements, or fake prepackaged foods. Life-Based Solutions is a complete system helping anyone know what to eat, when to eat, and how much to eat. The Life-Based system offers medical-grade body composition, client education, and state-of-the-art data analytics to optimize your individual needs and achieve maximum outcomes, complete with live coaching from a credentialed professional with experience. Go to lifebasedsolutions.com to learn more and contact directly. Whether you are a client looking for coaching or you want to start your own life-based professional business, eat better, look better, and feel better. Lifebasedsolutions.com.
And there it is. Look at that.
Yeah, this
right
wasn't
there,
trick the body. This was not fads. This learned about it. And it's not like you went just in a complete straight line. Like even your trainer learned some things, you learned some things. We get so many data analytics, and even though there's trends where you see people are putting on muscle, losing on fat, and we both want to make that point here. It's not by eating less. What surprises people, number one, you get the processed food out of your life, and some people can do that in one day. Like you're just a type AAA person. You're not a follower. You're not a sheep. That's an understatement. But however that is, even though you're not a follower, like it was literally in this case, one day, boom. And here again, you had a person you trusted in, you had a background getting up to this point. So you literally were kind of just all in on this one day, even though you did have a background of training, self-improvement prior to that. But to really hit that rock bottom, and people don't know what depression is. And we're definitely not going to say there is no such thing as depression. Just pour some whiskey in your boot and go forward. However, the thing is, you can't just, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with counseling and therapists, but you just can't just dwell on the thing that is causing the problem, or just trying to figure out what is causing my problem. It's like when you can put proactive steps into that, and we're talking a lot about nutrition, diet, and exercise, but when you start learning and just win the week, just one step forward, two steps forward every week and build on it, you're not going to get there instantaneously, but you see this huge transformation. And for you and I, this is normal in terms of what we do for others, and you lived it yourself. And I know lots of people that have done it. Life kicks in, they take a pretty significant dip, something really bad can happen, they take a pathological dip. But it's so important to focus on, whether you want to call it lifestyle medicine, but diet and exercise is the most unconditional love you will ever get, because it's completely honest. You get the results you earn. Even when you're making big changes and you don't see the changes in the mirror or on the scale that you want to, it's like, you're doing great. You're building a foundation. I know you think you're there, but you're just not yet. But just hang in there. and listen to the people, especially when they've been there. I think that could be really, really useful for people who are going through hard times and trying to pull
Well
themselves.
said. You become the roadmap for those people, because it's not like, okay, I just got certified, I know how to train people. No, I've been there. I know how to get there. And it's not a quick fix. You can go do the surgeries, whatever, for the quick fix. But if you want a body for the rest of your life, then you need to go through the process of learning how and what to eat and how to be active every day.
Yeah, and this is not tricking your body. This is not losing water weight. Like the other thing we talked about, look, you got to get processed, refined foods out of your diet. And you may not even know what that is yet. Especially, you can't just read a magazine. There's so much marketing and BS. Like, the last thing you should do is just go to any online retail center, Amazon included, and like if you just type in keto foods. Well, you should not eat 99.9% of everything that is keto certified, because it's processed, refined food, and it may be a little bit better than eating out with fast food, but that's not what we're talking about. When you get around competitors, you find out it's like, wow, it's amazing how few supplements they eat, how few bars they eat. And it is just food. But the other thing I teach my patients, and I know you can justify this, even though the muscles may be motivating you, it's the body that is motivating you, but your body is not going to put muscle on first. In fact, it's one of the last things, even though every week we can see changes, every single week. So as you're replacing these worthless calories that take so much energy and literally injure your metabolism, so many things, it injures your metabolism, slows it down. And it's like, the answer is not eating less. Of course, it's eating less processed food, and even eliminating it is ideal, but all of a sudden it's eating more. And our clients are always like, holy cow, like, I've never eaten this much in my life. And
that's what I get.
Just when they hit a plateau, it's like, okay, you need to eat more. And they're like, well, how does that work? I go, and I just have hundreds of cases of data I get to show people. It's like, well, here's their plateau, and this is even how many carbs they did. And then we added 40 grams of carbs a day for them. And now they started dropping fat and gaining muscle again. There's a lot more to gaining muscle than just eating protein. Now, you can do this. You can get positives on a keto, but and low carb and whatever you want to call it. But I'm always like, are you going to live like that forever? And there may be a time for it, but it's like, man, there's so many healthy carbs that are enjoyable. And even once you train your body to use carbohydrates appropriately, even when you do go on a vacation, people are like, that's amazing. I did not live that healthy, but oh my gosh, I did even lose that much. And sometimes they come back and they're like, how did I have a few drinks that I had, at least one dessert a day, and I actually put on muscle and lost fat? And I'm like, well, you can't do that every week, believe me. But when you ramped up that bonfire and you invested in your health, it's like your body can do that because you've put the equity into your health. And that is so important. And the only 100% way I know people are going to get to this is talk to somebody who competes, at least consistently at an introductory level. They've done the life transformation themselves. They will never lie to you, and it will be successful. They know what food is. And this is just one of thousands of great examples.
Yep. I have many clients. When they first come to me, they're like, oh, I need to sculpt my body. I need to put on muscles. And I'm like, well, unless we lose the body fat, you're only going to look bigger if I put on muscles on your body, because I can do that. That's not a problem at all. But you need to now lose the fat first. Learn to eat normal food, regular food, different foods. And when I give them, of course, I surround myself with many health professionals, nutritionists, and who help me out. And when I give the new plan to a client, first thing I get is, I have to eat this much food now? I have to eat more now? No, you're not eating more. You're just eating more often, but lesser portions. But usually within about a month, it kicks in. They realize it. They're like, I see. I see.
Absolutely. There's that transition, because it's so different than what's written in the books. It's obviously very, very different than what you learn from most clinicians, especially mainstream. I mean, don't want to throw certain people under the bus, but it's like, wow, if you want to take the long road, that's the long road.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with those professionals.
And there's no rainbow at the end of that road for 99.9%.
No. That's why most of the people that I surround myself with, the health professionals who actually help me with Get Lean with Juline, they've been in the fitness world.
Yeah.
See,
without a doubt, there's a huge difference.
Big difference.
And they're better clinicians because they learned from the strength and fitness world. And of course, we do have advantages of learning certain clinical things and even experience working on certain people with additional needs that you need to take into consideration and maybe even measure, some of the severe imbalances. So you really realize it of where people are. And it helps you become such a better teacher and such a better clinician. No. But you can't. There is some benefits of taking what you learn in the clinical world and applying it. This is what we call clinical performance at Brain Body Fit. And there's people doing it. We're going to continually have those people on here. There's so many great strength coaches that I know now that they really are. They're phenomenal clinicians. They're not treating disease or anything, but they are taking that elite strength and conditioning experience to where they make amazing athletes, but they become so trained in function that they've become incredible neuromusculoskeletal therapists by identifying and correcting people's imbalances, and not just physical, the ones that do implement food in there. That is that combo. But when you do apply diet and exercise in just a very one step at a time mentality, it will change your mind. So even when you do have a mental illness, or you have depression or schizophrenia or bipolar, and it gets harder. I mean, the more darkness that there is, like, it's not just like, oh, you just got to get up and walk to start. It's hard. It is a ball and chain that, unless people have had it, I've helped so many people with it. I myself, it's not like every day is like a big smile at certain phases. We all go through certain periods in our life, and there for a while too. I mean, I just constitutionally, I'm a pretty happy person, but you go through phases of life to where it's like, oh my God, I feel like a melted ice cube, and just my soul is been evaporated from the poison that can be out there. But it's also like, okay, I don't feel like doing it today, but I know how to get myself out of there because I've never been here before, and I'm not the person I used to be. So, with mental illness, it is a real thing, but to get around somebody who possibly has been there themselves, but they are in the strength and fitness world, and they really understand natural laws of the body, natural laws of food, natural laws of the mind, and they really are connected, and how it does work. You don't have to focus on your depression in order to correct depression. In fact, it's like, we got to realize it. We're not shoving it under the rug, but it's like, if we just do these things and hang out with positive people that are telling you the right thing, it's not lies, and don't get mad at the scale, just find the positive, and we're going to do a little bit better next week.
Exactly. And the other thing too, a lot of people have learned is your current health situation also takes away years from your life. You see, when I start with someone and their metabolic age says 60 when they're really 52, and then a few months later when they follow the process and they see that they're getting closer to their real age, or they are now at their real age, they're like, oh my God. And I have to explain to them, no, you just added years to your life, healthy years. That takes away from healthy living. So that's also one, I learned that, of course, we all learn that when we go through certification and things like that. But right there, that first picture, I took life away from me, years away from my life. And the second picture shows I've actually looked younger than I did before. So.
Yeah. And it is. This is one of the most fulfilling things that I do in terms of what I call life overhauls and taking people. And I know that's the same for you, and you have lots of success in your life. And we're going to get into that too, because it's not just being about one dimensional. Like, people are like, well, yeah, but she probably doesn't have to work like I do. And it's like, we'll get to that. So,
Yeah.
but here, this was in 1 year. So from December 30th, and then we see that picture, December 15th, 2018 versus 2017, literally 1 year time. And even in the period where you're like, okay, I got too skinny, I lost the muscle that I wanted to, and everybody wants to lose fat, and then other people have an illusion like, oh, I only want to put on muscle. We got to address this, because I know, but when anybody says, oh, I don't want to get too bulky, and you're just like, oh my God, like we don't have to worry about that. Like, you have no idea what that takes. Like, putting on muscle is not easy. There's very few genetic freaks out there. And if you're standing in front of me, you are not one of them. And it's not to be mean, but it's like, I don't want to lift weights because I'll get too big. No, eating the way you do gets you too big. Like, absolutely, I could make you squat 3 times body weight and you would probably be a lot smaller than you are now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you got to comment. I mean, fitness sarcasm is truly so funny, but it's not sarcasm. It's real. And especially when people have health needs, we're not making fun of those things, but it's like, we got to break those illusions. Like, this is such an important example. It's like, okay, that's absolutely not true.
No.
And how do you address that? Because you have to address it.
I do every day. And I start with me. I said, am I bulky? I'll be like, if I want to show you muscles, I can show you muscles, but I have to flex to show it to you. But I'm not bulky. So why do you think you'll be bulky? And every day, I tell people, no. Now, you want to take steroid, you want to take stuff, you will get bulky. But doing it the right way, the natural way, again, with the healthy eating, you're only going to lose the unwanted body fat that shouldn't be renting space in your body anyways.
Yeah. And people give steroids way too much credit anyway. It's like, I could give you a grocery sack of steroids and you're never going to look like those people anyway. It's like, I could shove a ton up your butt. And it's like, you have to understand how to eat and work out. It's like, there's not magic in this shot. Like, you have to understand the foundations no matter which direction you decide to go. It's like, I could give you a grocery sack full of steroids and you're still not going to look like that.
You're still not going to. And look, to get that body took me a year.
Yeah.
A year of working out 3 to 5 days per week and eating healthy 7 days a week for 8 months. 8 months. I ate the right way 7 days a week. I did not cheat. I didn't go to a restaurant, nothing. Yeah. So it took me that long just to look like that.
Yeah. And in your case, you literally learned to eat correctly and apply it in 1 day.
Exactly.
There's a lot of people, it takes even with trying and making modifications. I mean, even with a great coach, there's just some people that they don't move like you move that quickly. So it can take them 8 months just to learn how to eat what took you day one to actually apply it into their life. So, even if people made that level of transformation in a year and a half, that's incredibly positive. And the thing I always want to point out, it's like, yes, she looks great and that's important, but before she put on that muscle and lost the fat, like, look at how much more healthy her metabolism is. Your metabolism does not just affect your figure, and you can look really good, especially if you have youth and genetics on your side, but you can look really good and still be really sick.
Yeah.
However, you cannot not look good and be healthy. Like, that's not really an option. You can still be okay, and we're not saying being on stage is only the optimum way of health, but it's a reality check for people of just how disciplined you have to be with food, how disciplined you have to be in your life. Everybody's kids get sick. Everybody has emergencies at work. Everybody has everything you're going through who is listening to this. It's just the people that make that level of commitment, they're still a great mom, they're still a great dad, they're still a great grandfather, they're still a great business owner or employee. It's about balance. And their threshold of balance is just, it's inspiring to say the least. Right. But those are the people you want to look to because they have the exact same things. And in many instances, you'd be amazed at the catastrophes they're going through in their life constantly.
Well said. It's true. Life will happen. Life does not stop you still have to do what you got to do. If you're a mom and you're taking care of kids, you're a wife, you have a home, you still have that. However, when you have a reason to change your present physical form, when you want to change everything mentally, physically, you have to be consistent. You have to commit. And you have to find the reason why you want that. Not because there's a wedding, there's a vacation. You have to have a need of the reason why you want to transform your body. And it takes discipline to do it.
And muscle is not the first thing that's going to come on. Losing fat is, so I always tell, losing fat really, it's not as hard as people make it sound like. And I don't want to be like once you get somebody like Juline, like I said, the thousands of strength and fitness people I know out there that do it the right way, and they treat the person, not just a one size fits all.
Right.
You know, I always tell people, especially my patients, it's like, look, we're going to increase your metabolism. Metabolism isn't just going to help you look better. And that's important. That's important to me. And I know that's important to you. But by the time you start putting on fat, or you're putting on muscle and losing fat, your body is going to have much more of a predomination to improving the cells of the digestive system, the nervous system, the cardiovascular system, your immune system. So when you do it the right way, you could trick your body, and maybe if you've got genetics and youth on your side, you could sacrifice your health to look good. But obviously when you start getting our ages, that is not the case. It's like you are so much biologically younger, you are so much healthier, and it's not even comparable to what exists out there. It just, other fad systems that it's like, that'll go away at a short time, or the ones that don't go away, it's like, well, that's why we have the obesity issue and the overweight issue, because people never got out of the magazine, they never got out of the people teaching the same stuff that didn't work. And it's like, just look at the people that have done this better than anybody. And so I always like to refer people, you know, there's some great guy trainers out there, and since I know people all over the country, if it's not an ideal fit to work with them, you know, via computers, I always like it when people can have a face-to-face relationship. I always go, okay, let's look for a female who competes in bikini or figure. Even I like trying to find Iron Maidens, because even though Iron Maiden is a unique certification, they just don't give them away for free. You know, it's a kettlebell certification, and it's like Iron Maidens don't just do kettlebells in order to pass the kettlebell certification. Generally, I've never met one that did that, and they're not a dime a dozen. So it's like, look, whether you're a guy or a girl, it's like, you know, if you find an Iron Maiden, they've done lots of things right. Maybe some body weight, some gymnastics background, you know, some athlete. But to get that certification, you know, you have to be strong. You have to be pound for pound strong. You have to be functional. Like, you're not just even going to be big, bulky, and some things typical people worry about. Like, you have to have so much function in your life. So those are the people we're always kind of stressing people to look and find. And I'm like, they're all over the place. You're just not going to find them in the typical restaurant. And many times you're not even going to find them in the popular gyms. You know, you're going to so, but you can find them. You know, you ask the right questions, you just poke around, they're out there.
Yes, true. Go to fitness shows. You'll find them.
100%.
You know?
Well,
you can look them up.
You're going to find dozens and even hundreds. I mean, not, you know, people, some aren't going to be in your geography, but absolutely great advice right there. You know, that's where you're going to find these things. So again, another picture, you know, a whole series of different pictures, you know, within that time frame. And we get to see even a little more back development, more muscle here. So this was, you know, more progress, you know, and give yourself
progress.
Here,
look at that.
Absolutely. Now, this was a few years ago already, and even though you're not currently competing right now, but I mean, you have not fallen that far back. Like, you are still super consistent. You're not in, you know, the cutting stage, but like the lifestyle you have developed, it is just consistent, looking good, feeling good, being healthy, being aware.
Absolutely. And I will continue that for however long I'm here on this planet. Just yesterday, because I also get trained too. When I feel like I can't push myself, I pay someone to push me. And my trainer said to me, actually, I'm sorry, this morning, he said to me, you can get back on stage and compete, right? And I said, yeah, within 4 months, if I wanted to, I can, because I've kept a healthy lifestyle. So if I wanted to, and I have promoters who've been saying to me, would love to have you on our stage, would love to have it. Who knows?
Yeah.
Next year I may get on stage, but I've kept that lifestyle only because I'm training other people. I'm training women. So when they see me, they see, okay, yeah, I can get them the result they're looking for, So, but I love how I live, and I miss workout if I don't work out one day. I miss it. I literally miss it. You see, and if I choose to eat something that's not on my menu, we'll call it, on my plan, I know I can do it because I've earned it, but know that it's not an everyday thing. I do it once. Okay, we got to get back to, it's the right way.
Yeah. And you enjoy it, and
yes,
away you go. You don't live this small balance beam that we call the nutritional church of hell. But I mean, you're just honest with yourself as well of what you can and can't do it, even if the scale, and more important than the scale, when I say that, the scale I'm talking about is, the medical grade body composition scales, where it's fat, muscle, specific to your ratios, water ratios, phase angle, and of course we do a lot of lab testing in the clinic as well, but at least I love those medical grade bioimpedance machines. As we've had InBody on here before, there's other good companies, but that one I really, really like. I love their outside sales reps that I'm very familiar with. And those things you can do every week. You can't do a DEXA scan every week. You don't want to be radiated. It's worth doing once in a while. And for us in the clinic, like our goal is to, there's really never a reason for osteoporosis and those types of things, because you have so little muscle, decades. So when we do these body compositions, and even with young people, it's like, when they have this body type that it's like, holy cow, you're 38%, we get 42%. Look how low muscle you are. Even when people are like, well, you're not that heavy and you don't even look that bad, but it's like, wow, there's nothing there. Your muscle mass is so low, and that's a mega health marker, because your body is not going to put on muscle first and then all these other things go away.
No.
By the time your muscle is low, your nervous system is weak, your immune system is weak, your cardiovascular system is weak, your thyroid is weak. It's weak. Muscle is not the first thing to go, but it's an incredible marker that gives you a window. It's like, oh, when you're this bad and this low, you are not going to have bone density when you have so little muscle on your body. And so we push people for a DEXA scan right away, even though our medical grade scanners are very accurate. It doesn't give me exact bone density, and I don't tell people, I really want to prove it by the best methods affordably that we can. So we even send upper 28-year-olds and 30-year-olds all the time for DEXA scans. It's incredible how many 40-year-olds that have had chronic health problems already, they come in. I'm like, that's really low muscle mass. Now we can help you with all this, but just to your fact of motivational factors, sometimes we never know. Some people have a family member. It's like, well, do you want to be that grandma that gets off the floor and kick your grandkid's butt when they were 14 years old, and you can do that, So, but other people, some people really are, they're scared of this disease, and we don't motivate by fear, but we also aren't going to lie to people. No. And so we send people for DEXA scans all the time. It's like, you're 28 years old and you have osteopenia. You're 36 years old and you do have osteoporosis. It's like, you're not going to make it. And this is completely avoidable. Well, they say it's incurable. And I always go, it is incurable based upon what they do. I couldn't help you if I did what they did. So anybody who tells you hypothyroidism, and we just had, Philip's Triumph on the podcast, with rheumatoid arthritis. He was told for 7 years by traditional medical doctors that it's incurable. And, if he went to a gastroenterologist, it was ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease. They're like, well, that's incurable. We just help you manage it. And I'm always like, well, they're right. Based upon what they do, it is incurable. Correct. But if you live healthy, it's like, I'm not going to put undue pressure on you But when people listen to Philip's podcast, I'm sitting there going, okay, in 6 months, if you're 30% better, would you be happy? And he'd be, oh my God, like that's a miracle. They say it's incurable. And I'm sitting there in the back of my mind just going, okay, if you do 70% of what I tell you in 3 months, this will be gone. And in 1 year, you will not even be able to reflect back and go, did I really hurt that bad for that long? Did I really go through that? Now, the only thing would be is if they have an underlying mycoplasm that we didn't identify at that time. And we don't start with those types of things in our first 3-month program. It's like, hey, let's build these foundations. And then some people, it just takes longer because like you, like Philip, it was pretty impressive. I mean, in 1 day change, they really kind of did do what you told them to do, where I have other people, it's like the learning curve is a lot longer, but it's like, hey, if we're just getting 2 steps ahead of some lifestyle habits and, generally it's pretty easy to lose 1 pound of fat a week when you're 30%, God forbid, 40%. That's not difficult. And we're not losing muscle in the whole time either, is what we gauge. It's all about nutrients in and healing the body out. So,
well, Jerome, I think you know this. I've been diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. I mean, years ago, and living in College Station, Texas, there was not one morning that I could get out of bed and just be. I had to literally stay in bed, cry, roll myself over, finally able to get up and go to work and do movements. And by the end of the day, I feel better. But it was hard for me to wake up in the morning for about 8 months straight in Texas. And doctors gave me pills. Well, I still have rheumatoid arthritis, but guess what? No pain.
Yeah.
No problem. But if I do stop working out and eating the right foods, I will feel the pain in the joints, I will feel it. I know that. I've tested myself, just to see, do I really have it? So that's why for me, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah. And I would never tell somebody that's wrong. But at some point it's like, well, you just have a reaction to seed oils or aspartame or sucralose. And it's like, I don't know if it's rheumatoid, but obviously it's very pro-inflammatory and you might even be more sensitive to some of those things, especially when you cleaned your body up. So
exactly.
Again, you're still doing everything the right way and your mentality is, it's like, okay, even if I felt that. But another good point. So even when I met you, I wasn't going to say that, but you were in a different mind space. Now, I did not know you had a stroke even at that time when we knew each other, for a year or two. You shared that later. But even when I did know you, you were such a driver. I don't want to call you a pill popper, but what were you at that? This was before you started trading and got certified 2008. So we're talking 2000. So I knew you for 8 years before you started your first legit fitness journey. And, you don't want to just push, you're our super successful person to have there. You weren't one of the clinicians, but nobody could do what you did with communicating with people to describe the leasing, the numbers, really understanding their financial situation and what's best for them. Is it a loan? Like, is it leasing? You were always really good, not just here, do this because this is the promotion of the month. So, but at that time, it was no secret that, so describe that time even, like, I'm not saying you were on a whole bunch of narcotics. It was probably just a bunch of over-the-counter stuff. But I mean, it was a bunch of over-the-counter pain meds, to say the least.
High blood pressure, high cholesterol, and for arthritis. I took prescription drugs to help with pain, to help, keep me going. But it's all supplements now. Since 2000, when I started with Larry, 2017, it has been only supplements.
Food. Now, without a doubt, it's food first.
Food, workout, and just supplements to, that includes fish oil, for example, that gives you energy. But the food, the right fruits, the right vegetables, thermic vegetables. I learned about thermic vegetables, that they do help. I do not take anything that will cause my body to be inflamed. I've had to learn what food works and what food doesn't. And that's the other thing. Some people don't realize it. So no prescription drugs, not even over the counter, not even an Advil. I do not take those. Absolutely not.
And that is not your history. And the only thing that changed is your education and your application. And doing it the right way. It was step by step, even though you've had times in your life where you made huge changes. So,
yes. Even if you think you look great outside, you need to know the inside of your body. You need to know how to live a healthier life. And anyone who contact me, I'm honest with them. The one thing anybody will get from me is 100% honesty. If I feel or see, not feel, if I see the scale, the numbers shows you are unhealthy, I will tell you you are unhealthy, period. And the one thing that I encounter every single day too is water. People don't drink enough water to keep their body, their organs running optimally. So if I can give anything in regards to health and fitness, is know your body, know the percentage of body fat you have on your body, and know that water is also key beside food. But if anyone reach out to me, I'm going to be brutally honest once I have their information. But learn what needs to be done for the next stage of your life.
Yeah. And even as smart as you are, and it's just great foundations that you mentioned, and I would just add, which I know you would too, know your percent body fat. Also know your percent muscle. Know how much muscle you have on your body and where that applies. Like, what is a healthy ratio for where you're at? So that's just super important.
Let me add one thing. Yeah. Find an in-body. Find a place where there's in-body. The gym that I work out in, there's 4 in-bodies right when you walk in. Yeah. Some places, they do it for free. Some charges. But find a place, because that is one instrument that is close to 100% telling you exactly what's happening in your body.
Absolutely. Even at times, so trainers, many times they may not have access. They themselves probably don't have the license to do lab testing, or even there's so many, the lab testing world is amazing, compared to what I would call traditional medicine, even a lot of natural holistic practitioners, as great as they are, they're always way ahead of traditional medicine. But like functional lab testing is 40 to 50 years ahead of where the general consumer will find it. And it's not confusing. Like, I'm not even the person that starts with, we're going to test your genetics. Like, all the sick people I have never in the first 3 months, I'm going to test your genetics, because I don't blame it on your genetics. It's like, okay, even if you have a predisposition, it's not a prophecy. I'm just like, there's only so much money to go around. It's pretty obvious. If you have Down syndrome or something else, it's like, no, that's a genetic predisposition I can't change, even though we can help you if you have health problems, and everybody works together with that. But no, you do not have high cholesterol, because even then, that's a whole podcasted separate entity. That's not even a good example, because cholesterol is one of the most important building blocks in your body. So if you have high cholesterol, you should ask, what is my body trying to repair? Because high cholesterol has nothing to do with plaquing. You can have low cholesterol and be plaqued. You could have super high cholesterol and be clear. Cholesterol, that's a whole different podcast I'm going to do at some point here. But these are the things, even Juline has referred people to me. We do the lab testing. We talk about what's going to be best for this person. I give her the data and I get out of the way. It's not my patient, but she can have trust in me. That it's like, the people pay me to do the lab testing. We talk ahead in advance of, here's the big basics, how much or how little are you going to recommend, and what are they capable of doing. But this is information that is really motivating to a lot of people, besides just the goal. And some people need that shock of like, holy cow. And body composition is a shock that helps a lot of people. But just like you said, you need to not only know what's on the outside, you need to know what's on the inside. And for all the clients that we do the big life overhauls on, and even get people on stage, we're always doing lab testing on them, because we want to prevent more problems that we fix in the first place. And I also want people to know, you look great, but look at what you repaired in the process as well. Like, you didn't even know your gut was this screwed up. You had no idea you had this many microorganisms living in your body that weren't supposed to be there. You had no idea your essential fatty acid ratio was off this much. And it affects everybody differently. But again, these are really keystone numbers that you have to get into balance. And sadly, they're not traditionally tested. There's not even, well, definitely there's not 1% of standard medicine that does any of those things that we do up front. And these are basics. I consider them basics. I mean, this is Brain Body Fit level 1. And you can't go to the Mayo Clinic and get these types of metabolic tests. It is. So, but in terms of that, you put that with the common sense of somebody who, it's like, that I see some people that they're great doing lab testing. It's like, wow, these are really good lab tests, but they don't have the go mode. You know, they don't have the program that is just standard in strength and fitness of people who are competing at a certain level, which you don't have to take the drugs in order to compete at those certain levels, even though they look amazing. And those people are so smart. They will never let the people down, especially if they have somebody that's like, you know, maybe we need to do a food allergy test on this person too. So, you know, a lot of people think chicken and broccoli is good for you, but if you do have certain health problems, let's do a food allergy test. And you could be allergic to chicken and broccoli. So it's like, hey, eat these different things. We're going to improve quality, and we're just going to eliminate some of these things. And so in certain situations, you know, we've done a lot of that. And it's always great to work with people like you that know that's available out there. And then I don't even have to say anything afterwards. I just give you the data and, like, you know what to do with this. And that person, you're going to change their life. And I know that for a fact. All right. So in closing, we're just going to kind of share with people, you know, you've got a few different businesses. We're going in chronological order, even of how I met you and what you were originally doing at that time. So let's just explain your financing business and leasing group that you have, and I'll let you do all this.
It's simply to help business owners obtain the equipment that they need without any out-of-pocket expense. Most owners do not know whatever they need for the business is equipment. If you're in a restaurant business, everything in that restaurant, in the kitchen, outside, the tables, the chairs, that's equipment. You can lease them, finance them. IRS allow you to take tax advantage by doing so, and keep your cash for emergencies. Stay liquid. So that's what we do. JLP Group, it helps any business owners to obtain whatever they need for the business without any out-of-pocket expense to us or to your business. And you just make your monthly payment, just like your location lease that you have every month.
Now, I've known you 25 years. This is how we originally met, but you were doing this long before you met me. So, I mean, what did you even... I mean, your experience is my point of, I mean, you've always been so great. You have so many contacts. You don't just use one bank, or you don't use one different source. Like, you are a broker, and you are always looking out for the best of the person who you're working with.
I do. I've always been in the service business. I like to service people. I like to help people, educate people. And we have all the banks at our fingertips who can help anyone with the best credit, with the worst credit. Startups. Right now, banks will not lend you money to go start up a business. And if they do, the paperwork that you need and the money you need as a savings to show is crazy. You come to us, and that's what we do. We help you. All we ask for is, what's your background? You going into the restaurant industry? Do you know the restaurant industry? That's it. That's what we need to know. And we will find the bank who will get you the best payment and who will work with whatever situation you have. You do not pay us. The bank pays us. You could go to Bank of America, try to get money. You will not get it. But I can go to Bank of America for you on your behalf and get it. But we also secure your loan as well, too, most times. So that's why we're able to get anyone, just about anyone, finance. If we can't do it, no one else can.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have the contact information down at the bottom of this screen. Juline is a great educator with this as well. Hopefully everybody has a great accountant or a great financial advisor. And there are great educating people in those professions, great educators for money in that profession. But you will also get that with Juline, and it's either going to parallel what is said, or it's not uncommon. that she may introduce up to say, hey, ask your accountant about this. Ask your
Yes.
financial advisor about this, and they may not have jumped out and told you that because maybe you didn't even bring it up to them specifically, but she will definitely give you the questions. Hey, ask your accountant about this, give your financial advisor, this, and they'll really reinforce what you already say because she knows it inside and out.
Yep, over 30 years experience.
Yeah. So we'll get Lean with Julie, and a little testimony here. I whipped out my wife's Wonder Woman mug over here because Julie is one of my Wonder Women in my life for it. So a little tribute toast to you with that. So again, we talked about this. You're doing it, but let's you go through this.
Oh my gosh, this is the one thing that I thank the universe every day for putting me in that industry. I'm in the transformation industry. I transform lives from 12 years old to well over 70 years old people. I have a lady that I put everything on social media. They allow me to videotape their transformation, their actual journey. I've even helped people get on stage to compete as well, who never thought they would compete. But not only the Get Lean with Juline bootcamp is transforming physical appearance, but giving a lot of women the body that they never thought they could have. And it also changes their mindset on how they walk, how they present themselves. So that's one of my babies that I do, and the boot camp encourage women to form a new friendship with other people in a group setting. Not only they get to work out, they learn how to eat. But Saturdays, for example, we do 4 miles every Saturday all together. I'll have 30 women walking with me on a Saturday morning, early mornings, 5 a.m., 6 a.m. But it does teaches women to learn how to eat, not just them, but the whole family, giving them the support that they need. But most of the women who comes to me, they have a reason to come to me. They want to get off prescription drugs like I used to be, and they need to learn how to eat. Some of them think they're eating healthy. They're not. Some of them think they're drinking tons of water per day, and when they're only drinking 13 ounces per day. So I take this and coach them. We do bi-weekly check-ins. We adjust their meals as they change if needed. So that I am blessed to be able to do. I enjoy this immensely every day. See, there's my shirt, Get Lean with Juline. Every day I see probably about 8 women, and I'm loving this. I'm loving the transformation. I have a 61-year-old within 2.5 months with me lost 16 pounds of body fat from 4.9%, mainly from literally it was around her waist. It was, and after 2.5 months, when she saw her body and her family saw her body, she literally cried. I gave her a certification of completion, but she's coming back. But now I have her whole family. I have her kids, her nieces, her grandkids. They all now saw her. She's now the roadmap of what it takes to be healthy. And she's showing her family that it can be done. So I'm blessed to be able to do that.
Yeah, it is. It's so great. And I share your enthusiasm with this, but it also just comes across the screen as well. So a lot of clinicians are going to watch this, even consumers looking for help. And, just by chance, you could call Juline even if you're in California. But we would, whatever's going to be best for you, sometimes it is, we work with people from a distance, even though, because I always say it, well, at least nobody's going to screw you up from the start, and we're going to get you the good start. Even though I always want that personal connection. There's no substitute with what you're doing and even how you've created those healthy groups. Like you're not sitting there calling it my fibromyalgia, my rheumatoid arthritis. In fact, it's like, people are supportive when they have those things, but you don't claim it, you don't name it, you don't own it,
No.
and you're doing the things that healthy people do, and it is remarkable how those things go away over time as your body regenerates, you fuel it, you get around really positive people that are encouraging you. A lot of people are emotionally broken down over life, and the strength and fitness industry just has so many positives. We couldn't even go through it in a 2-hour podcast. You just got to get into it at a level of safety that you feel comfortable with. And, Juline is an amazing, you could just even see her personality, the way she talks, the way she glows. But there's also thousands of Julines out there. They're in the communities, and sometimes you're going to find people that don't give you that vibe. Just poke around a little bit, and once again, just go to some shows. You're going to find some really special people if you just don't walk into a gym and find that person that kind of makes your heart pitter patter. You have that good soul feeling about. Yes. But they're out there. There's lots of them out there. They're really.
And if somebody reach out to me, I can also guide them into where to find, based on where they live, where to find coaches, trainers to help them as well.
Yeah, because not only you have a lot of connections because you live, walk, and talk the fitness industry, you competed, yes. So that alone puts you in a whole different connection of people when you do compete. Now, this is another point, people who are really into this, I even told my wife this once upon a time, when she was a trainer and she was doing her certifications, and she never thought, oh my God, I'm the world's greatest trainer just because I have these certifications or I go to these seminars and classes. But at that time, I even told her what she told me she wanted to compete, and she's like the most non-competitive person in the world. So I was like, okay, just make sure you're not doing this because of me and my background. Like, you're doing this for you. And I am super happy to help you, but I can't love you any more than I do. Even though I'll be maybe prouder of you, whatever. There's a benefit to it, but it's like, don't do it because of me. However, with that, you have a lot of advantages, but then you also have, as we're going to talk about, AM Activewear, which allows you, again, just this huge audience and another means to communicate with people.
Yes, that's my real baby, because this was created literally from a word, I am okay. When I was in training for the 8 months with my coach, companies were sending me clothes, free clothes, so I can put on social media for them, right? And I would always find what was wrong with the materials, and especially some of them, if they're not dry fit, the sweat stays on you, it can actually cut your skin. So I learned a lot about clothing throughout my training. But when I wanted to honor my son from, because he told me to go compete, and COVID hits 2020. And that gave me time to come up with, of course, something else to keep me busy, because I love to stay busy. The AM Activewear was created. I took the situation that happened with my son and I transformed it into something else that not only helped people, not just women, but I'm going to use women specifically. Some of us never give ourselves credit to look in the mirror and say, I look good. I am beautiful. I am sexy. We don't do that. So I wanted to create something that when someone put it on, it's not just to go to the gym. Not everybody goes to the gym. Not everybody's ready to work out. But I wanted to create something that they can wear to any social event, any outings, whatever, but know that they actually looks great wearing it. And that may give them a little bit encouragement, because it's empowering, to go to the gym, to walk to the supermarket, to go out there and be confident in what they're wearing. So it's a healthy lifestyle that's supported by your outfit, whatever you're wearing. So I Am Activewear is where I find strength in helping everyone in looking gorgeous, looking beautiful, and feeling empowering.
It is. And you're taking people from ground zero and actually making them healthy. And these people are going to change their bodies so much they need new clothes. So especially with the empowering clothing line that you've created and the look that you've created for different agendas, it's not just gym wear. It's kind of like self-wearing trophies too, because it represents something that they could not have worn, especially when they started. And it really is. It's really been amazing what you've done, the message behind it, and where it's still going. So yeah, I actually use AM Activewear to reward my ladies that get Lean With Juline when they lose dress sizes. When they go down, they get, recently one's like, okay, now I know I'm a size 4. Come on now. I went from an 8. I know. And she did. She dropped 2 dress sizes. I said, hey, let's go to the boutique. Let's go look. And she picked out her outfit. And of course, when people are looking in the mirror in front of me in my boutique, I literally cry. Because now they're looking at themselves differently. Not just the work they put in the Get Lean with Juline, but the outfit that they're wearing. So the I Am Activewear have all kinds of lines, men, women, any shapes, any size. Anybody can wear it. Fantastic. Well, here again, you can look at the bottom of the page there and contact Juline. And before we close, I'm going to make you say some closing remarks. We're going to start with French.
Ooh, oui? Okay.
So Juline is also speaks fluent French. People hire her as a French interpreter. So.
Oui, je parle français très bien. Et puis, je parle créole aussi. Je parle créole tout. Et un poquito español. Also a little bit of Spanish. And of course, English.
Now you threw some Creole in there as well, did you?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I started with French and I went with Creole and Spanish and then back to English. Aujourd'hui, c'est le premier jour de votre vie. Today is day 1 of your healthy life. Know what it is that you want. Know your why. You have to have a why in life. Why you want to live longer, healthier life. And take it and run with it. Whatever you choose to do in health and wellness, be consistent.
Toast, my friend.
All I got.
Yeah, it is. That's great. All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Please pass this on to somebody that you care about, whether they're a clinician, influence helping others, whether they're somebody just really in need, somebody that you may not even know. And you just see them, they're hurting in some way, shape, or form. This absolutely can help people, even if they don't reach out and contact Juline. These answers are in everybody's backyard, basically, if they look for them. But if they can't find them, obviously, we like trying to help people connect the dots, even if it's possibly across the country. I mean, once you start competing, there's so many great people you meet from all over the place. So sometimes those connections are literally just a phone call away at times. But Juline, I can't thank you enough for just you being you, just being a great friend for so long. And outside of that, just knowing how you help people, how you inspire and motivate them the right way. And keep doing it, and love you bunches. And you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Jerome. You as well. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Brain Body Fit podcast, where we are dedicated to helping doctors and clients integrate clinical evaluation and performance enhancement. Please like and share this episode with someone who wants to empower their own health and actively participate in the health revolution of the growing millions. Epic changes are real. Visit us at PerformancePractic.com, where you can explore premium selected products and services that we have used to change the lives of thousands in our clinic and seminars for decades. Follow us on our socials. All the links are listed in the podcast description. If you are interested in personalized health programs and want to work directly with Dr. Jerome Rerucha, schedule a paid consultation to apply for starting a 3-month professional supervised healthy eating program. Also available are individual, comprehensive restorative care program options with additional lab testing and services. Head over to PerformancePractic.com or simply click the link in the description to learn more and apply.